I guess, Todd, a similar story in some ways to the last couple of weeks where you started slowly, but again, the response from halfway through the second quarter onwards was impressive.
Yeah, look, really slow start, obviously, but again, probably some different factors this week. Obviously kicking into a fairly steep breeze, and they played some pretty close attentions to some key players early, and they weren't able to influence the game. But I thought we worked our way back into it. But even to go, I think it was 8-1 at one stage down. Showed some really strong resilience to hang in and still believe.
What started the turnaround from halfway through that second quarter?
I think we started to get our hands on the ball. We certainly got much better in the contested situation, got our hands on the ball and gave our forwards a chance to score.
What goes through your mind when you end up 7 goals down? You've had a couple of weeks now to be in that situation. What do you try to do as a coach, or do you have the faith in your players that they'll be able to sort of work it out themselves?
We obviously have faith in the guys, but then the other thing is giving them opportunity to settle and reload and go again. So, but the last couple of weeks we've been able to maybe try a few things or make a few changes that have been able to have an impact. But, for the most part, it happens on the ground. So, I thought our leaders were pretty good.
To dominate the way you did for the last 2.5 quarters, I think it was 14 goals to 1 from that point against a team that's been playing really well. It's pretty stable inside the top 4 now. That probably sends a message as well. Whereas you've been able to do it against some sides that haven't been in great form, I guess, but to do it against a top team like that's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, and look, it was obviously a pretty bleak outlook when it's 8-1 down early in the second quarter, and they're only a game behind us on the ladder. So it was really strong belief. It hasn't been ideal the last couple of weeks, but I think the players have probably got some strong belief that they can come from anywhere. But it'd be nice if they could jump out of the blocks and then play with the game on our terms.
Do you now focus on that and put some extra focus on it, given it's 4 weeks in a row now that you have started slowly? Do you try to rectify it, or does that almost bring more attention to it if you put it in the players' minds? How do you approach it from here?
Oh, look, I think you always try and rectify it, but in terms of the way we play in the first quarter compared to after that, structurally and the way we generally play the game doesn't change. So, we'll keep working on it. Obviously, we've got to get better. But, I think we would have won 3 of the 4 quarters again today. So, but we've got to be better early, no doubt.
One move they made was an interesting one. They seemed to bring in a play just to tag Blaine Wilson at centre-half back. It's not often that a team focuses on your centre-half back like that. How did you think that went in terms of the game? And obviously Blaine hurt his shoulder as well, which probably didn't help his day.
Yeah, look, I don't think it had much of an impact. We didn't think it had a huge impact, so we were happy to just run with it. I thought Blaine was pretty good, but we're not about one player. So, Tim Kelly was obviously tagged really closely and just kept fighting on. It's another chance for him to improve and get better. And I thought he was fantastic, and Schleuthy as well. So, but look, we were pretty even again, which is generally the way when we go okay.
TK gets that attention now regularly, but is it different if it comes from someone like a Ryan Curley, like he did in the first half? Does he probably learn even more from that than he usually would?
Oh, look, he's been played pretty tight for a while now, so we'll just keep working with him. I thought didn't let it frustrate him. He just kept working hard, and eventually he was able to start to get a bit more space and still had an impact. So. We don't expect him to have 35 possessions and kick 7 goals every week, but I thought the 20 or low 20s that he had today, 12 clearances, 17 contested. You can't ask much more from one of your mids.
Their small forwards kicked some goals early, which would have been frustrating, but from then on, I thought Steve Edwards and Jason Mascos were 2 of your very, very best players.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of it came from up the ground. It's pretty hard playing deep on a dangerous small forward when, we just probably weren't at our best up the ground and didn't put enough pressure on the ball. So, but certainly I thought Steve Edwards was fantastic again, and Jason Mascos, in the second half he was very solid. So he's been in really good form for us.
How do you approach next week now? It's a country trip. Does much change in terms of your preparation for that?
Not a lot, other than you got to drive 2 hours to get to the game, I guess, and play on a different ground, but it'll be the same for the opposition. So we'll give the players. They'll choose how they prepare and whether they go down early or whatever they do. So we'll just train as we normally do.
East Perth will be pretty desperate. They lost again today, so their season's almost on the line as well. So they'll be throwing everything at you.
Yeah, but as you said, our starts haven't been great, so yeah, it's a good chance for us. We were pretty good against them out here for 3.5 quarters last time we played them, and then let ourselves down. So our boys are a pretty proud group, so I think they'll be ready to play well.
Everyone come through unscathed. Those conditions can always be pretty tough on the body, but do you expect Blaine's shoulder to be okay and everyone else okay?
Yeah, well, as far as I know, everyone's good. I mean, even Blaney, he was fine. He came back on and played well, so I don't think we've got any issues.
Very good. Thank you.
All good.